Welcome to Implicit Bias. I'm Caleb Morse. This is take number 2. If you want to find out why, email Walker at, what's your email address, Walker? No, we're not doing that? Okay. Well, welcome to the show. There's no monologue. I'm not going to spend an hour and a half introducing everybody. We got people that are known here. Well, I'll introduce everybody once, right? Tug, what's the easiest way to do the cameras? Do you do it on your own, or should I warn you? I hope we're still recording all this. People need to see how real it happens. Yeah. So to my left, which you don't know which direction that is because you're looking at a camera, but to my left is Renee Gerard of Piper's Haven. World, say hello to Renee.
Hello.
World.
Hello, world.
The certified wizard of tobacco,
Yeah.
tobacco, who brings you our number 1.
Yes. From 3916 West Congress Street.
I never would have remembered it.
Yeah, I know. You never did.
And it's so much better. I just put it in Google.
Yeah. No, you truck just knew how to
It
get
does.
there.
It's in there as a
It's
favorite.
autopilot.
It's
It
in there as
just
a
goes.
favorite. I just when
Of
it
course,
sees
now
me
you
going,
got
it's like you're
But now
passing
you have a
Renee's.
new truck.
It'll learn. It imported that stuff.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Technology
cool.
is crazy how they
That's
track
cool.
us. At the bar, Grant Galata of William S. Nacall, who you should probably talk to. You should probably talk to because Valentine's Day is creeping up on us.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Can I do a hello like Caleb did?
I mean, I'm fine with that.
I don't know. Walker might not.
Yeah, Walker. We're already too far in. How we doing, fellas? Good to be back as always.
Pleasure. And Brant, do you want me to say your last name or
Gula.
I mean, I could have said it, but
Man,
Okay.
say it then.
so Brant is a good friend of mine. He helps me out whenever I can't help myself. So, and I thought it'd be a great time to have you on the show and enjoy some time.
I think I
with us.
spend more time under your house than you do.
Now, yes, and I'm so grateful for that. So grateful. And we have another friend behind the cameras right now. You can't see him. Josh Barnhill. He'll come out and introduce himself later for everybody. Walker, you want me to introduce you?
If you want to. You already kind of did. Hello, world.
Well, no one can see you. You want me to do the wave at the same time?
Yeah.
Howdy ho. So, I'm gonna throw a kink in the chain again, right? I'm not gonna cuss yet, but it dawned on me that Valentine's Day is really close, right? And I am truthfully unprepared. But
Surprise.
yeah. And look, regardless of what you think about the holiday and all that kind of stuff, this is a really busy time for William S. Nacall, for Grant and everybody else. But it got me thinking, I take for granted that my wife's gonna be my Valentine. So to throw a kink in the chain, and Brant, you can talk about your 2 beautiful Valentines, okay? But I want everyone just to say something, including you, Walker, about why they love their Valentine. And don't just say she has a nice butt, right? Like legitimately, I've been married. Let me look at my watch. This will make 23 years of marriage. And man, I truly love my wife more every day, every year, every day, every moment. And not just for all the physical stuff, but for the person that she is and the will and strength that she has to keep me in line. Because y'all know my wife and y'all know me and y'all have a good idea about what I am. And she does a phenomenal job of herding all of this. So
Which, that's a full-time job.
yeah.
In fact, I'm scared of you, wife, just like you are. I mean, Miss Jackie don't play.
Not at all. Not at all.
She can handle up on business.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my wife. I mean, we've been together since 1980. So that's 45 years. Now, we've been married 43. But we met in college and dated throughout college and got married, and she still puts up with all my foolishness. So I got to keep her. Or she's got to keep me.
I think she's got to keep you.
No, well, she's got too much invested in me to get rid of me now.
It's hard to train a new mule,
Oh, yeah. I mean, she invested a lot of money into me. So, she's not going to start all over. So that's why, we put up with each other.
Actually, a very nice selection of topic, but I'm going to go with the butt thing. Yeah. It's we're all getting a little bit older. You know, you tend to take it for granted, especially after decades and decades of marriage. But it's a good thing for you to point out. You take it for granted sometimes. Being in the jewelry business, get to see a lot of people come in, you know, and looking for something for that special someone, and you got to put a little heart into it. I mean, you come in and you look at what we've got, and once you see some people who actually put a little bit of meaning into it, and that's usually a little bit older, more wiser crew, you know, and you have to be reflective and understand exactly what she means to you, and just one little token of your appreciation, it tends to do just that. I mean, it's just the little things that count, and trust me, the women are looking for that one little thing. It means a lot to them. It may seem like a little bit of a hindrance or a little bit of an effort for us, but make the effort. It's well worth it, and so is she.
Man, that's like really profound advice.
And I ain't even drunk yet.
Making the effort is a profound piece of advice, because we men tend to be very goal oriented, right? We want to be successful. We want to provide, right? That's our job, is to provide.
Yep.
And we wrap ourselves up in being a provider. So when we fall short, or when they ask us for flowers or a necklace or a bracelet or a hug or 10 minutes, we get caught up with, well, that's not providing. So great
Yeah.
advice.
That actually is.
Yeah.
If they ask, you know, for the hug or what, that is providing then.
True.
You know.
Very true.
Yeah.
Brant?
I have 2 teenage daughters, and it's challenging, but I love them so much. I spend as much time with them as I can, and I take every chance they give me to spend time with them, to do things with them, take them wherever they let me take them, because they're at that age you don't get as much time as you would like. So I enjoy everything I get to do with them.
Yeah,
Yep.
they grew up real fast.
Too fast.
I remember when yours were like knee high.
Yeah. I just
So-
left. She was bowling today. We went watch her. You know, so
It's the little things, man.
yeah, it is.
All right, so now on to more of what we're about, right? Before we go into topics and everything else, we want to thank New News for some delicious. Are we drinking bourbon or is this whiskey?
It's bourbon.
Bourbony McBourbon. And so this is Ezra Brooks Foolproof, not foolproof, but foolproof, 120 proof. It's coming in hot. I think I want to let Grant talk about it. Do you ever go first on this kind of stuff?
It's a shame that we don't let you go first a lot because just the descriptors. It's hard. Renee and I have always agreed on this. There's certain tastes we can and can't pull out of it.
Yeah.
It kind of speaks to our age, I guess, a little bit. Your taste buds are a little bit worn out from this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this 120 proof, from my first sip, it's still kind of stuck to the side of the glass. So it's got legs. It's very viscous, and at 120 proof, that viscosity really sticks on your throat. It's typical bourbon, though. I get the caramel, I get the vanilla. There's an oaky taste to it. Get some spices, but again, I'll let you elaborate on what those spices are that I can't quite put my finger on. It's just really tasty, very enjoyable.
Man, I concur. Like, this is something I wish I wish we had a cigar right now, Renee.
Oh, what?
Like
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this is cigar bourbon, and
You know what that means? That we'll have to get a bottle of this and go to the shop, and we can sit there and smoke a cigar at the shop and drink this.
I thought you were going to say, "Damn the consequences."
Well, we could, but we might get thrown out.
Man,
Yeah, Kavan would not be happy if he came back from his trip
Yeah.
and we got evicted.
he wouldn't let me host very often.
Yeah,
after that.
if we get evicted, he wouldn't be happy.
Yeah. No. I mean, I definitely get caramel, and I don't get an over oakiness. I get like the perfect amount of smoke. I get a hint of vanilla, like fresh vanilla, and then I get this delicious s'mores flavor. Like, not just going out over a campfire and fresh graham crackers, not stale ones, Walker, right? You got to get a brand new pack. And you don't use just the regular Hershey's. You got to get the Hershey's almonds. Do the Hershey's almonds with this. That way you get a little bit of nutty flavor and everything. That's the kind of s'more that I'm getting. And don't just toast the marshmallow. I like a good char on the outside. Smash it down. That's what I get on this. You see, like, and you're agreeing.
I never agreed.
Or no, you're just nodding your head like he's full of it.
Yeah.
I get heavy s'more, man. This is delicious. There is a heavy spice to it as well that I'm trying to put my finger on. I'm not there yet. It's not an allspice, but I'm not there yet. I might get it on my next glass. But let us know what you think, Renee.
It tastes like whiskey. It's good whiskey. When the first pour, I mean the smell just hit out. You could tell it was a high proof because it was a very heavy alcohol smell. And that first sip I had, I was like, oh my God, this is rocket fuel. But as it sits a little bit, I guess that first sip kills all your taste buds. So you don't taste the heat. You don't taste the heat after that. It's a very good whiskey. I like the flavors in this.
It is delicious.
I can't pick out all the descriptive flavors that you find, but I really do like this stuff. I think I might get in trouble tonight.
Well, I'll warn Polly.
Okay.
I'm trying
Well,
to figure
she's
out.
working, so she won't. By the time I get home, she'll be gone. So she works at night.
I'm trying to figure out the smell because I didn't sniff it earlier. I went right into drinking it, and I don't know if it's what I ate on the way here, but like black olives,
No,
like
It's
fresh
something-
black olives.
I can't pick out. There's something. It's a familiar smell, but I can't.
Pipe tobacco. That should
Yeah,
be
maybe.
pretty familiar.
Yeah, but no, it's a food, but I don't know what I can't place it.
Pipe tobacco could be a food if you're brave enough.
No, you don't want to eat pipe tobacco. I smoke a lot of it, but I don't eat it. I mean, it does have a very strong caramel flavor. It reminds me of one of our blends called Log Cabin, which is a maple
Ooh, I've had that.
walnut. Yeah,
Brand,
I'm
what,
getting some of that.
what you got on us, bro?
I taste the sweetness. I taste that spice. I don't know. I kind of thought it might have been like a cinnamon almost.
It's definitely got a
that.
hint of that cinnamon because it's mixed in with the spice. So
Yeah.
you get that warmth from it.
It's pretty hot, but it's smooth.
At 120 proof, this is
Yeah.
is wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I like it.
So I don't want to follow the standard motif, and I don't want to go into rating it and all that yet. I want to wait till we've had 2 glasses, everyone across the board, to do that. But in the meantime, while the people watching are thinking of this, the Morse whiskey rating scale: red, I won't drink it even if it's free. Yellow, I'll drink it only if it's free. Green, I would buy that, I would drink that, I would enjoy that. Blue, I will seek it out. I need it in my life.
You need to amend that.
No,
because red is I wouldn't drink it again if it's free, because you had to drink it the first time.
well, that's I tasted it
it's
the
free.
first time. I didn't
Well-
drink it. I tasted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, it's all in verbiage.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have a point. But we've had a ton of people also ask for like more colors and that kind of stuff. But
and blending of colors, you
No.
forbid that.
It
You will
is-
not. You will not let us blend colors.
I want people to be decisive. I find that society today we're very indecisive. Like, where do you want to go eat? I don't know.
matter.
And I'm like, oh, look at that place. Let's turn.
I don't know if we can do that though, because sometimes when we add the water to it, it changes the profile a little bit.
does.
So I think it's a good idea. Maybe we'd try a drop of water in it since it's 120 proof, and let everybody make
That's
a
a valid
down the road decision as opposed to right off the bat when it just burned our teeth.
That didn't burn mine. But that's a valid point. We might do it after we put some water and whiskey in there and give it a little shot. But thank you to New News for sending this out to us. Please go
Now-
see them.
Now,
pick stuff
this
up.
is not a limited or any. It's a regular.
This is a regular
On the
now
shelf
this
all the
might,
time.
This might be one of their store picks. Does it say it on
No, it didn't have a store
there?
pick.
No,
label.
it's a single barrel.
So it's on the shelf all the time whiskey.
Nope. It is a New News store
It
pick,
is.
baby.
Oh, them letters are too small.
Oh, they're small and they're cursive.
Oh, I couldn't.
Do you
read
have
that.
bifocals or trifocals?
I got some focals.
So that means go out, pick it up, try it. We'll give you our ratings and all that here in a little bit, but please go see them and check out the many, many delicious offerings they have. How much longer we have, Walker? I didn't ask you about the whiskey. What do you think?
I like it. I do get the heavy caramel and a little bit of vanilla that you mentioned earlier. This one's good.
Come on, more.
I'd go buy it. I would buy this. I know we're not supposed to be rating right now, but I would buy this.
What, any other flavors does it have?
Nope. I gave you the 2 flavors I can pick out, and that's what you're gonna get.
Look, you're getting better. You know, I mean, how long we've been doing this together? How long now?
Probably like 7 or 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, so you're getting good and descript. You're still wearing short shorts, which I appreciate.
Anything for you. Since May, I've been here.
Oh, you have it in your phone?
That's how I track when I get paid. Like my dates.
Okay,
To remember to write it down.
Valid point. Like, I forget that I have a calendar in there. I should pay attention to that kind of stuff.
And we haven't really established if it's a progression or a regression when you become a better whiskey drinker.
Let's ask the
Walker,
newest member. What do you think?
Are you better for your new skill, Walker, or have you become a deviant?
I would say I'm better for my new skill.
Do you find that people are asking you like, Walker, I'm looking at bourbon. What should I
Some
buy?
of my buddies do.
Yeah,
They
see?
do. Because some of their whiskeys they drink is like really bad.
Plastic bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Jim Beam, stuff
Yeah,
like
whoa,
that.
whoa, whoa, don't
Jim-
be trashing Beam now. Beam makes some good whiskeys.
Not the, some of my buddies drink that green apple Jim.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
we're talking
No,
Beam.
no,
We're
no,
talking
yeah,
whiskey,
yeah.
not flavored toilet water.
No, but look, hey, Walker, it's a good point because growing up, I always thought it was just Black Label Jack Daniels, Crown Royal, that stuff, and I just stayed away from it. But even those guys, especially Jack Daniels, we've had some Jack Daniels on this
Oh,
show.
yeah.
That is just
The single
fantastic.
barrels. We had a Sinatra.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That single barrel, that one's good.
I can't see what you're pointing at. That's okay.
It's that high proof one, the rye.
Oh, that is a very good. That is a very, very good one. Huh. I'm gonna have to. Well, no, I have something else behind this bottle already. I can't stack a third bottle.
Is this a rock?
Why?
No, this isn't a
why?
rye.
Why are you going to limit yourself like that?
Valid point. Valid point. I'm finally getting back to having delicious whiskey, getting back to having a great environment, great people. I haven't even watched last week's show yet. You know, Kavan called me earlier bragging about all the shows, all the comments, the likes, the shares, the hate mail he's already gotten. So I feel we got to step it up.
Wait. He got letters and you weren't involved?
Oh, yeah, okay. Look, I still hold the first.
Oh, yeah, you got the first
big
one.
complaint is mine.
Yeah.
So. But Walker gave me the finger. We're going to try to save some time here, have a good time, enjoy ourselves. I'm going to pour another glass. Hope everyone else needs one too. Pour yourself one as well. We'll see you right back. And welcome back to Implicit Bias. My name is Caleb Morse. We're having a great time with everybody here. You'll see them as you go through the cameras. If you're curious who's talking, they can introduce themselves, but we've already done that. So go back to the beginning of the show. If you listen on radio, tune in. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube. I'm at where else, Walker?
Facebook.
Facebook Live, Instagram Reels.
You know more than me.
We're on X. We're on Twitter. X is Twitter. There's other places. Oh, well. Find us. We're all over the world. Now I forgot what I was going to talk about. You threw me for a loop. Oh, well. The Bishop. The Bishop Buddle. That's her name, right? That's not just a nickname. Bishop Buddle. An Episcopalian bishop that President Trump, the First Lady, Vice President Vance, his family, they all wanted to go and enjoy a service, right? They wanted to go and have a moment with God, which, look, I want every moment with our Creator that I can get because He yearns for a relationship with us. So therefore, we need to fill that God-sized hole in our heart with His love. And it's hard to do. I don't think Trump got to fill any hole in his heart with any love. I don't think there was much love lost or much love spoken in that sermon. She went on about fear, the fear of the people. And look, as a bishop, when you go through and you look at the Bible and you read, you learn that all places of authority are appointed by God, whether you approve of them or not. I didn't approve of the previous administration, but I prayed for them. I prayed for them. I prayed for God's hand upon them. I prayed for guidance. I prayed for his son, his wife, their family, because I thought they needed it. I'm going to pray for the current administration. I don't think she was praying for much help for him. I think she was more or less just going on a tirade that she felt entitled to go on to. She talked about immigrants who were afraid of being forced out of the country. She talked about gay and lesbians, that they might have their rights to marriage revoked. which she talked about people who wanted to have abortions and having that right revoked. Then she went on and on about all these other. And look, I might be wrong on the one on abortions. I'll tell you that right now. But she went on and on about multiple things, and most of it were things that I can't find anywhere where Trump said he was going to do it. And then her main thing was fear. And it was the first time in my life I've ever heard a bishop or a priest or anyone fear-mongering. And I'm just very, very, I'm interested in what y'all's take on this was.
Well, I mean, like you said, she was putting all these things out, and Trump has never said anything about that. Even like, they like to bring up the abortion issue, that the federal government outlawed abortions. They did none of that. All the federal government and the Supreme Court said is that it's not a federal issue. It's a states' rights issue. So if you in a place where they outlawed abortion, it's not the federal government, it's your own state government. So take it up with them.
Well, and the way that when they changed Roe versus, it was Roe versus Wade, wasn't
Right,
it?
correct.
When they went back and changed all that,
I like waiting best.
you actually have more of a voice,
Yeah.
much more of a voice.
The closer the government is to you,
The more you impact it.
the better. Yeah, the more you impact. So on a state level, you have much better impact than federal level.
If you don't like the way the politics are, vote and change it. That's what we saw, and that's why our government is the way it is now,
Right.
and not the way it was. Is the people spoke, and we wanted a change. I guess that she didn't like the change.
Well, she just, like most of those people that think that way, they use the fear. They put fear in people. I mean, she brought up the fact that transgender people and gay and lesbian people were gonna die because of this. I didn't understand.
Are we
that.
in the Middle East?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
You better put walls on your rooftops.
Well, but when she brought that up, I was going, how is that? You're out there just pushing fear, and our federal government really brought none of that up. Just because Trump has declared that the federal government will only identify two genders, male and female, that's it. They didn't say which one you had to be, but we have two genders, and that biological males can't participate in female sports. That makes perfectly good sense to me. If you're a guy that wants to become a woman, hey, look at Bruce Jenner, who is now Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah. I had to think for a little while.
And even Caitlyn Jenner says that biological transitioning males should not participate in female sports. They have a tremendous advantage. And this was a guy that was a decathlon winner.
Well, and look, there are females out there who are very, very strong.
Yes.
That compete in bodybuilding and the Olympics and everything else in multiple different aspects. But when you look at scientifically, males have more muscle mass, denser muscles, more muscle mass, and it's because we were supposed to provide and protect. But let's go to the bar. Let's ask up top.
It was poor timing, and it was definitely in poor taste. You got a new administration come in. The road that they take to get to this point, what they go through on the campaign trail, the long process, they have to be exhausted. He was at inauguration parties probably till 1 a.m. And it was bad timing. You want to start it off, you want to kick it off, especially from the pulpit, with something positive. Wish the guy well. Don't go that deep into it, but don't kid yourself. This was a planned event because right after it was over, she made the circuit. She was on, all of the morning talk shows, and they were, everybody was congratulatory for what she had done. Hey, she took her shot. She saw her 15 seconds of fame, and she did it. And it was poor timing and in poor taste, in my opinion.
Do you think we have the newest member of The View?
I try not to say that word. Look, the only view I want of those women behind that desk is I want to be in a beach chair having a drink, watching all four of them tied to a golf cart going over a cliff. That's the only view that I want. Please don't get me started on that. But it was poor timing. It was done. The decision was made. The American people spoke. Wish the country well. You don't, whatever your feelings are for Donald Trump. wish the country well. Brand new administration coming in. The country's trying to turn itself around. Don't even have to go into how horrendous the last 4 years were. It speaks for itself. But from the pulpit, as a spokesperson and representative of God, wish well. Send us off on a good foot. And she didn't do that, not even slightly.
It definitely, I think, was in poor taste and poor timing.
Well, so the Christian religion, so Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. And so she had the opportunity to, well, I mean, as a bishop of a major Christian denomination, she should be spreading truth and not lies. Because everything she said, I mean, we discussed, it was probably during the break, but Trump has not said any of that stuff. And that's what the left does, because they have no truth in them, unfortunately. And so they spread lies.
And it's really profound that you use the truth, right? Because they have the buzz term now that's been my truth, right? My truth says this. If truth exists, and we as Christians believe that God, Christ through God, or God through Christ is the truth, the way.
Yeah.
There is one truth, not my truth and your truth, right?
Right.
There is the truth.
I always get a kick out of that when it's, my truth is, no.
That's my
It's-
opinion.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Not
it's
the truth.
The truth is,
You know, there's always three sides to every story. Your side, their side, and the truth, right? Because we view things from our own lens, our
Right.
implicit bias. So,
which is an opinion, like you said, not a truth.
Well, that's why I don't like the term "you do you," because I feel like that's a part of. We're not sitting there saying what the truth is, or which we should be doing. If we see the truth, we should be saying it. We're kind of just saying, "All right, you just do whatever you want, and I'll go over here."
well, and God is there holding us accountable,
Oh yeah,
right? That's God, our fellow Christians, everyone else. We're to hold each other accountable. And if we start stripping that accountability away, well, then it's just today I feel like this,
Yeah.
and we lose the path to God's direction and to eternal life. Right, Walker? I see that you're waiting with bated breath to jump in. No?
He's not going to say a word about that.
No comment on the stupidity that went on during that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. You're doing a great job of biting your tongue. I tell you that right now. Like, you want me to put words in your mouth? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Walker said,
Yeah.
no. Oh, okay. Now all of a sudden the finger comes
Yeah.
out.
He's cutting you off,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So we got 1 minute left. I think we can go a little bit longer. That's the perfect time for us to talk about this whiskey, to talk about Ezra Brooks Full Proof, 120 proof from New News Market, their barrel pick. Josh, you're still going through and tasting yours again. Grant, what you got? Red, yellow, green, blue. And how much would you pay, sir?
This is definitely a blue for me. Nice caramel vanilla, high proof, but not too much of a strong flavor to it. It all works well together. This is blue, and I'm gonna go about $65 for this.
Okay. All right. Well said.
So, being new to this, so what is
So
run through the color schemes again?
red, I wouldn't drink it if it's free.
Okay.
Yellow, I will drink it only if it's free. Green, I will buy it. I'll pay for that. Blue, I want it. I need it. I will seek it out.
I would probably say yellow, but the reason is I'm a Scotch drinker, and so I don't.
Not
particularly-
peaty enough for you.
I like that. It's funny whenever I drink it, I let my wife smell it. It gives her the
Frisons. Yeah.
and so that's so I drink a lot of bourbon in my day, but somehow transition into Scotch. But no, it's very good. I have no skill in flavors and tasting anything. When I smell it and taste it, it tastes like bourbon, a
So-
good bourbon.
So yellow, and how much would you pay a bottle?
How much would I pay, or how much I think the bottle costs?
Either or.
This is probably I'd say a $70 bottle.
Okay. All right.
$70, yeah.
Renee, you want to go next? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I can go. I would definitely. I started out as a green, but I think I went to a blue on this one. It started out a little rough for me, but man, after a couple of sips, I think it also aired out a little bit. I put a little water in it. I didn't find it changed it that much, it's great just as it is. So I'll give it a blue, and I'm thinking more of 80.
Ooh. This is a blue for me. I love the proof. I love the legs. I love the flavor profile. It's coming in perfect. So that's 3 blues, officially a blue. Are you writing down how much people have guessed dollar amount? And I for some reason, I think this is, was that?
But mine doesn't count. You can kick that out.
I think for some reason, this is going to come in at an affordable point. Grant, would you say 65?
65.
68. 68. Walker, I don't think, you have an opinion on this one?
Blue.
Ha
65, 68.
Are we doing prices right rules?
Ish, yeah. Well, no, it's closest to the whole.
You can't do a dollar.
Closest to the
You
whole.
can't do a dollar.
62.
Ooh. So we're going to take the break. We'll come back once we look at the receipt because I have no clue how much this one cost. See y'all in just a few. Welcome back to the third segment, second try of Implicit Bias, brought to you by Piper's Haven down here in the beautiful place, 3916 West Congress.
You got it.
Bruh, I've
You
stored
got it. It's finally stored in your
locked
memory
in the
banks.
vault for the next 13 seconds. I legit Googled it and saw it on the way.
Oh, is that what you cheated?
Slickety slick slick. So if you didn't hear it, Ezra Brooks, full proof, 120 proof, new store pick, phenomenal, delicious. Buy it. Blue, not across the board. Josh Squirrel. He's new. He's new. Give him
He's
grace.
a Scotch guy. He admitted he's a Scotch guy, not a bourbon guy.
So Renee, where were the numbers?
Oh.
On the guesses, we don't have the belt chain. I think Tug, it's in your pants right now, right? It's in his pants.
Walker won it with 62.
Yes.
I said 65. Somebody said
And the
$62, and the number
Was
$59.99.
So
I
Walker's just fortunate he doesn't have to wear the Mr. T starter kit.
You know what? I'll hang on your neck the whole night.
Yeah, it'd be lighter.
I'll latch on
That's okay. Thank you, though.
like a baby koala.
I like the offer, but thanks. No thanks.
Well, I'm trying.
Did
Did you get the mental image?
A little
Fingers-
bit, but I was,
Fingers interlocked.
Yeah.
legs
that's,
around the waist.
That is the first image that popped in my mind.
Ooh, those are the second.
That was the first. That was the second.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. So we've talked about Bishop Buddle. Buddle. Takes me a moment.
Bud. What?
Yeah.
Bud?
Buddle. I think she played in Harry Potter.
Oh, something like that. Yeah.
So, but now I want to kind of move on to something that's very similar. I mean, imagine that RFK, Robert Kennedy, is up for the Secretary of Health, and this is somebody that the Democratic Party has loved for years.
Oh, what? Yeah, his family was in the Democrat Party forever.
And they were always very, very, very
Uncle was a
prominent.
president. Father
Yep.
was attorney general.
Yep.
You know,
They have been, phenomenal family, done a lot in politics, changed a lot of the game, a lot of the scenery. And for a long time, the Democratic Party were big supporters of theirs until all of a sudden, whenever they saw bipartisanship really happening, and Trump has now appointed him to this position, they're going through and voting on him. And Elizabeth Warren was not happy. I think that she was, what's the word they use? Is it chap? Chap. She was chap. She needs some Carmex, some ballistics.
Pocahontas was on the warpath.
Ooh, that's even better. I prefer that. Man, much better than what I was doing. And she was trying to get him to pledge that he would not, as Secretary of Health and Human Services, is that the correct term?
Yeah.
Yeah. That he would not file suit against a big pharma, against vaccine companies, wouldn't do anything like that for his tenure or for 4 years afterwards. And he's like, well, hold on. You're asking me that in my position, the government won't sue either. She's like, no, there's other ways to make money. And look, people in government make money. Otherwise, why would they spend millions of dollars for a $100,000 a year salary? I want you to think about that. Like as a voting populace, People are spending millions of dollars. What was it during the election time? Does anyone remember? $13.2 billion spent on all. And that's across the board. That's House, Senate, president, vice president elections, everything else combined, for positions that pay less than 1.5 million.
Well, I mean, average salary is $174,000.
Which is, look, that is a great salary. If you live in South Louisiana, if you live in Louisiana,
And
174
DC,
grand.
In DC, it's not too great because things are expensive. Housing and that's expensive in DC. Food's expensive, but still, it's $174,000, and you go to Congress for a couple of terms, and you're a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
How do you do that on $174,000 a year?
I wonder how much Elizabeth Warren's worth right now. Can you research that while you're watching Sportsbook?
Start listening to some of the Doge things.
Oh.
Man.
Well, and Doge went in, they looked at it and everything else too. But so with this, Elizabeth Warren wants RFK to say he won't file suit, won't sue, won't push them out, won't do anything else because she's worried that he might make money.
No, she's not worried that he might make money.
What?
She's worried that the pharmaceuticals won't give them the monies that they give them for their campaigns and everything else. If they're broke, it's just like with the COVID vaccine. That was one of the things when the government said, we're going to come up with this COVID vaccine. Oh, and by the way, you cannot sue for any problems from this vaccine that we're mandating you take.
You know, my biggest problem whenever the vaccine came out was this was my first chance to tell the government, you ready? Like, you get your little finger ready. That's it. That's all I had.
Yeah.
Because the entire time I was in the service, they were like, look, we're going to get this shot. We're going to get this shot. Malaria, you're going to need a shot for that. You have nightmares, we're going to give you a shot for that. Yellow fever, shot for that. I had every shot under the sun. And whenever I became a civilian and I had to get those same shots again, they were like, we don't do this. This will kill you. I'm like, this is Tuesday.
Yeah.
The government does this every day of the week, but you can't. So that's why I didn't get the COVID shot. And I would love to tell you it was all these other things, but it was my chance to tell the government, I don't care, and I'm not listening to you anymore. And here we have somebody wanting to tell them the same thing.
I didn't trust it.
Well, you should never trust the
I did
government.
not trust it, so I didn't take it.
But what I love about this is we have people that are being appointed to the government who don't trust the government, so they want to hold the government accountable, but yet the people in the government that have been there for years say, wait, don't change this. We're doing a good thing. We're making good money. We're having a great life. I've got 13 yachts. I'm making this up. I have no clue how many yachts she has. We got 13 yachts, and we're spending taxpayer money like it's bubblegum and cocaine.
Yeah.
Made that up too. I don't know.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we establish that vaccines were only effective in as much as keeping it from being more severe should you be admitted to the hospital? They're fighting so hard to keep this vaccine relevant, but COVID didn't really affect the children. It was very dangerous on the elderly, but people were losing their jobs because they refused to take these vaccines. My biggest problem with the vaccine, never touched it, never even thought about it, because any drug that you put into the population, it goes through rigorous testing for years before they determine the efficacy of the
this one was
drug.
what, 6 months?
Oh, yeah. They shot this through the express lane.
Yeah.
So, but with Elizabeth Warren, it's so funny because it was everything that she was saying was hearsay, supposition, conjecture. She was saying, but if you get this position, you could possibly do this. And all that was on display today, and it was such a difficult watch. It was like tying me to a chair and making me watch an episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or something. It was very difficult to watch because what you had was someone like Tulsi Gabbard, like RFK, like Elon, who saw the BS going on in the Democratic Party and decided to go elsewhere. I don't think RFK has determined that he is going to be a Republican, but what he did was he went against the lockstep of the Democratic Party. And so this was all of their chances. Yeah, they put him on display, they put him up, and they took out all of their Trump frustrations, all of their losing the election frustrations on RFK. And it was a very difficult watch. It was hard to watch.
Well, and what's strange, or not even strange, what's humorous is when you go back 10 years. More than that. We can go back 10 years. Before Trump was elected the first time, he had massive supporters from the far left.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg and all the others were talking about how great he was.
He used to be a Democrat.
Yeah.
He was in the Democrat Party. And RFK did not leave the Democrat Party. They threw him out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they wanted Biden, because they could control Biden. You know, RFK can actually think and can actually talk his mind, where Biden has no clue where he was at.
And look, I'm sure he has difficulty speaking because what's the condition he has where his larynx or his voice box was paralyzed?
Yeah.
And look, it sounds very painful. It
But,
does.
yeah,
But
I don't think
he
it is.
speaks well.
Yes.
He speaks well. He is eloquent. He is articulate. Like the man knows what he's
Well,
saying.
he's not a dummy.
No.
He is very smart, you know. But yeah, and that's what I think. That's what frustrates a lot of the Democrat senators and stuff now is that he is very articulate, he's very intelligent, and he doesn't follow their agenda.
Doesn't follow their agendas, right? Because when you look at it, he's like, look, eat fruits, eat nuts, eat berries, eat red meat. Eat white meat.
Eat all these chemicals that
Yeah.
the food companies are putting in your
Eat
foods.
more natural. I mean, we're the only country in the world where it's okay to eat all these different dyes and all these other things. But you know what's not okay? Another break, unfortunately. Be right back. Welcome back to Implicit Bias. That was a short break for you, but seemed like an eternity for us. Walker had to go number 2. So, too much? Was it?
I'm sorry.
Thank you for running with it. Like, does Kennedy ever look at you and be like, why do they pick on you so much? Does she ask that kind of stuff?
No.
No? Does she listen to the show?
No.
No, that's why. That's why she doesn't
The only
listen
time
to the show.
the only time she hears it is when I'm editing it.
Oh, it makes you feel any better.
Or-
My wife really she sticks up for you a lot. Jackie likes you.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Jackie.
or when we go to Mr. Lester's, Kennedy and Kennedy's
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
you know. But then, you know.
Valid point.
Yeah.
You know, she sticks up for you there. She does. She's like, you leave my man alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she
Norman,
threatened, she threatened to kick Caleb's butt one time. I saw it.
Speaking of which, we're going to Mr. Lester's, February 19th? I
19th.
believe? Do
I'll
we have
be
to-
like freshly stitched up, having a great time. It'll probably be my first time drinking, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Nice.
Mr.
I didn't know if you had
Lester's.
to announce that or anything, or do we have to discuss that, or it's just...
That
No, it was probably top secret.
I don't know,
You just let
truthfully.
the cat out
I
of the
really
bag.
don't know. Like,
Oh, no, we got to let the cat out the bag early. We gotta
Kavan
let
tries
everybody know
to.
it's coming.
Kavan keeps a lot of stuff like close to the hip, you know. And OPSEC, like I'm big on OPSEC, operational security. But certain things I'm like, laissez-faire.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll
I mean,
be at
it's
Mr.
going to
Lester's.
be a closed session anyway because nobody's allowed but us.
I'm looking forward.
They're
to it.
closed that night. We're going on a night that they're closed, and we're going to record and eat and
Smoke cigars
and smoke cigars and
look,
drink.
perks. It's the burden that we carry for you. That's
Hey, so let's just leave it under coming soon.
coming soon. Yeah.
But in the meantime, you can go to Mr. Lester's, make a reservation, go sit in a cigar room, have
Please
a cigar,
do.
have their special, which is the Forbidden Series,
Yes.
to the end of this month, I think.
Well, to today.
Yeah,
I don't know
today.
what the special is for next month, but you know what? While you're there, talk to Chef Willie, talk to the staff.
they will take care of you,
You will
very
be
well.
so
Oh
impressed.
my God.
Like I've had the only place I've had better service than Mr. Lester's was my grandmother's house.
Yeah, but you still had to get up and make your own plate.
No, my grandmother was
Really?
amazing.
Oh my God.
Wonderful woman.
My grandma
I was her
cooked
favorite.
good, but you know, I
made
had
that.
to make my own plate.
No, we called her Nana because I couldn't say grandmother or mama or whatever. So I said Nana, and Nana was awesome. So, but Mr. Lester's, you will be so happy.
The people at Mr. Lester's just take great care of you. It's amazing. The memories of these people. I see them probably every couple of months, and all the wait staff and everything. They remember us and what we like.
Well, I
to
think part of
drink
that's
and
because
stuff.
you tip with a 50-cent piece.
Well, yeah, I'm cheap.
So-
Yeah, they remember that. You know, sometimes it's a silver dollar, but you know. No, they actually remember my wife's strawberry daiquiris.
I think everyone remembers Polly's strawberry daiquiris. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But our run, one brought to you by you,
Yes.
by Piper's Haven, 3916 West Congress.
God, he remembered.
I didn't look at my phone either.
And it's been more than 13 seconds.
I know, I'm trying. I'm
Yeah,
struggling,
you
but I'm
didn't.
trying. But so Josh and I were talking earlier, like earlier during the week, and we were discussing some of that. I didn't send this topic out. I apologize. So
That's fine.
another thing. Training is really important. And when I say training, I mean like preparation. And when we think about training, and look, at the shop we do concealed carry, we do intro to firearm, basic pistol, basic handgun, a number of stuff. Because that's all the whiz-bang things, right? That's what people really want to do because it looks cool on Instagram. But the things that matter most, first aid, plant identification, a number of things to make you self-sufficient. And you will use that so much more. I've used my medical training outside the military as a civilian way more than I had to draw my gun. I've had to draw my firearm once as a civilian, and I've used my medical training at every wreck I've ever driven by, every accident I've ever seen. I stop and I'm going to be someone, and I want to make a difference and save somebody's life and do something, not because of any kind of pride, because it's the humane thing to do. And taking the time to understand that there are things that we don't know. You know, and we were talking about this, Josh, it's how to even put on a tourniquet. That's a huge thing. Have y'all ever worn a tourniquet before by chance?
No.
How long do you think you can wear a tourniquet, or what do you think happens when you put a tourniquet on your leg? Do you think you can walk?
No, I mean,
No.
you're cutting off the blood supply.
No.
You can walk on that sucker. Peg leg, bro. Stiffen it up, you can move. We used to do our training, and during classes, when I would give classes, I put a tourniquet on my arm and then run a gun with a tourniquet. Now, dexterity is gone. Finger movement, that kind of stuff, if a tourniquet's applied properly, it's going to go gray, and it will be painful. But there are things that you can do, and it's really important to understand that medical training truly has more bearing on your survivability than target practice. So, are these things that y'all have thought about before? I know this is out of nowhere, but
No, I really haven't.
and you of all people,
Yeah.
Renee, with your heart and everything else,
They got medical people for that.
does Polly know CPR and all?
Yeah,
but so
she
that's
probably.
that's
she
why.
probably- I mean, I've
she's-
never gone into cardiac arrest. I mean, I know when I got an AFib thing coming up, I know I sense it, I know it, and we go. You go to the hospital. Yeah, I'm sure that she's taken CPR. I've never taken CPR because it's kind of hard for me. If I go into cardiac arrest, I can't do CPR on me.
Valid point. Yeah.
But look, at some point it became part of high school. I remember in high school in New Orleans at Rummel, we learned Resusci Annie. They
Oh yeah, we did that
the
in
basic-
junior high and that. But
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, that was
unfortunately-
like 100 years ago.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
me.
unfortunately, you forget a lot of that stuff. But I think basic CPR like that is something that should be, that's something that you should at least have basic knowledge of.
Yeah.
If you should, unfortunately, be in a situation where you should need to use it, is standing there feeling helpless, watching somebody that you could possibly help, even in a simple situation. Have you seen this commercial for that Life Vac?
Oh, yeah.
People, that little vacuum that you put on people's face
For
if they're choking, just pulling stuff out of there. I mean, even simple stuff. I think preparation is absolutely important for stuff like that.
Well,
But I would love to know. I need to know the answer to that. If you put a tourniquet on a limb, what you're trying to do is decrease the blood flow
Correct.
to that area.
That way you can
So-
hopefully save them. And hopefully you never find yourself in that situation. But the situation you're in right now is a break. Welcome back to hour 2 of Implicit Bias. This hour, unfortunately, not brought to you by Renee, but brought to you by the one. Is it the one and the only? Is it? Because you have a better half.
Yeah, it's the one in the only store right now.
No,
Yeah.
I said the one and the only. I was like, you have a better half. So would that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's two of you.
Yeah,
There's two of you. William S. Nacall. I don't know your address. I don't. It's in my phone too.
3802 Johnson Street, Suite B. Right next to Gambino's, actually, another contributor
Oh, yeah,
to the show.
That way you can go by and you can get your sweets and your treats.
Look, king cakes and Valentine's.
It-
Good
now-
combination. Come on, get you.
You can hide a
Is
tennis
there a
bracelet.
line out of Eli's store every day now? It's king cake.
Y'all
season.
would love this because it's like his Christmas for us. Eli, look, he backs a trailer up to his front door 2 or 3 times a day, and it's like a 12-foot trailer by about 5 feet wide, and it is stacked floor to ceiling with king cakes. He's got so many different contracts now with people for king cakes here and in Texas, and just come get your king cake. Stop by, get your wife a little Valentine's gift. It's very busy over there for us right now.
Well, while we're talking about diabetes, I want to go back. I want to go back and talk about what we were talking about earlier, the end of hour one, and that's medical training, right? Understanding how to put a tourniquet on. And look, the military, we have we used to, I don't know what they call it now, but it was CLS, Combat Lifesaver. And CLS is very different than CPR. CPR, they're going to teach you chest compressions, not J-hooks, but cleaning out the esophagus, that kind of stuff. And CLS, it's nasopharyngeals, which is a tube that goes up through the nasal cavity, helps you breathe really well. J-hooks to open up the jaw. That way you can have an unobstructed breathing way as well if the jaw is still intact. Clear out any food, anything else. It does saline locks, IVs, that kind of stuff. And this is very, very important training. And something that I want to say on air that I said off air is there are more people worth saving than there are worth shooting, right? Everybody wants to be the hero in some way, and you have the opportunity with medical training. I don't know about y'all, but my children, one of them likes to inhale his food. He's my oldest now. Isaac, I love you. You're 19 years old. Learn to slow down. And I have given him CPR. Well, we've done the Heimlich and clearing an obstructive breathing way at least 2 times. Once as an 8, 9-year-old, and then once as a 6-foot-tall man-child. And these are if I didn't know what I was doing, like I could have lost my son both times. And it's very, very important that we understand the importance of human life and understanding how to save a life. Because when you understand how to save a life, the dichotomy of that is you understand how to take a life. So you understand where the vitals are, how to do proper chest compressions. And part of that is singing Staying Alive. Staying alive. So that goes into how you do chest compressions. And all of these play a very, very important role because then you understand how the chest compressions work, how to feel the lungs, how to check for a proper pulse. These are all things that, God forbid, anyone ever has to do, but you would have the understanding to do. You know, a good basic med kit, when you think about it, my med kits for years were overdone. You have a med kit and you have a boo-boo kit. I had to learn that I needed a boo-boo kit because you need Band-Aids a lot. Guess what I didn't have? Band-Aids. I mean, I could stitch up a sucking chest wound and do a needle decompression, but I didn't have a Band-Aid. So I had to change the way I did that and have a good basic med kit, tourniquet. You can use a polymer, a Ziploc bag, that kind of stuff. A good rubbing alcohol is very, very nice to have.
So at the Rustic Renegade, you have Band-Aids now?
I do.
Okay, I mean, with all those sharp knives, you have at your store, I mean, you probably need Band-Aids.
Oh yeah, I've learned my lesson, and there's some really great Band-Aids called zip strips. If you want to have a great med kit, buy yourself some. But these are things that like we should know as individuals. Josh, I see that you have a question or something pending.
Well, no, but the boo-boo kits, so yeah, the Band-Aids, but like the trauma kits you're talking about, you don't have like the aspirins, the Benadryls, the stuff like that. So there is a difference. I learned that as
Very
well,
big.
putting those together. So I got all our cars have them. My wife's car, my car, at the office. Because you never know.
Well, and you don't have to have these big expensive
No.
kits. Like I've got a big expensive one, but you don't need that unless you know how to use it.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
need a mass CAS.
And the problem is with a lot of these kits, medical kits, there's expiration dates on a lot of that stuff. You have to be careful. You don't want to go overboard buying or putting together a kit because you don't use it. Guess what? When you go to use it, that stuff is 20 years old and expired and fallen. You can't use that.
Well, and there are
So you
things
need
that
to maintain it also.
there are things that even though they have an expiration date, they really don't expire as much. And there are certain things that we don't need, right? A tourniquet is a great thing to have, especially if you travel a lot. Because in an automotive wreck, guess what you have a lot of? Heavy lacerations, right? So a tourniquet is wonderful for that. The things I was talking about, a zip strip. A zip strip is butterfly bandage that's separated with zip ties. So you remember when I went help out in Florida and did a bunch of hurricane recovery?
Yeah.
We had an older man that was operating a dingo. It's a single man bobcat, we'll call it, or skid steer. Flipped over it, split his chin clean open. His clavicle was fully exposed where he hit the blade. And the guys that were there with him who knew first aid ran to me probably 1,000 yards away and said, Caleb, we need help. And here you have COPD, Caleb, right? So for those who don't know, I've got COPD and I can't run very far. So I'm trying to sprint 1,000 yards. It doesn't happen. And physical fitness is another big thing when it comes to being prepared. And I get there and I'm trying to catch my breath. And here's this man, like a 70-something-year-old Vietnam vet with his chin split wide open and his clavicle exposed. And he's like, I'm fine. Let me just get back to work. I'm like, hold on. So I go through and we clean him up, put rubbing alcohol on him, make sure all the debris is clean out of the wound. And the zip strips go on. You don't need many of them. And you zip tie the wound close. It is a phenomenal product. They're not a sponsor. If you want to be, please.
Yeah.
But they're not a sponsor. And it is a great product. And it's something that you really want in your first aid kit, because how many times can y'all think of in your life where you've cut yourself really good, where your kids cut themselves? If you ever cleaned a deer, you stabbed yourself in the hand. These things happen. And they're things that we need to look at and focus on. A good antiseptic is great to have. These are things that we're going to need more often than not. I mean, I would hate to be in an automobile wreck on the way home or at any point in time and have someone not be able to help me because they're not prepared.
Or not have the equipment needed.
I have to look this up because I'm fully aware what a butterfly strip is. You take the wound, you put the strip on either side. It's a little thinner in the center just to close the wound. How do you incorporate a zip tie into that? I have to see this.
You'll see the picture, man. It's a phenomenal product. One of the brands of med kits we sell comes with them. It's a little bit more advanced to get that product with it, but it's an add-on. You can put it in anything. They sell them on all kinds of different services. Like the main things we all forget about are Tylenol, antihistamines, cleaning wipes. You don't need what's called a Kaizen bandage. So a Kaizen bandage would be if you have a massive wound or a missing limb, it's made from shellfish, right? And in the military, we get issued these. It goes on, it bonds to the flesh and super glues the wound shut. Very painful to take out. Very painful. The individual lives, right? So I'll take a little pain and be alive. In the civilian world, they tell you, ask, are you allergic to shellfish? Like if I'm lying there bleeding on the ground, like hoping to be alive.
I'm allergic to death.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do what
One
you got to do,
allergy
man.
is way worse than the other. So these are things that we have to pay attention to. But look, you have protection under the law for trying to help someone.
Right.
And it's up to you how much you want to
now,
help.
is that the Good Samaritan law? Does that go nationwide or is that state by state? I know in Louisiana,
That's a great question.
I know in Louisiana, the Good Samaritan law, you're covered. You attempted to render first aid, and if the person passes, that they can't really sue you. But other states they might. I don't know. I don't know if that's a federal thing.
That's a great question. And then something else to even think about is the mental preparation that goes with this.
Oh yeah. You got to be calm, cool, and collected the whole time.
There's a series of books by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman on combat and on killing. He has more, but those are the main two that I suggest everyone read, because it talks about what happens if you take a human life, if you witness a human life being taken, and how you recover from that. The trauma that you incur is grave, and understanding how to deal with it is very, very important. I know people that witnessed automobile wrecks and saw someone's arm get torn from their body, and they have nightmares from that. And I'm like, ooh, chicken wings. So, it depends on the individual and how prepared you are for it, right? But at the end of the day, I don't want someone else to get hurt because I wasn't prepared.
Yeah. Or someone to die because you weren't prepared.
Yeah. And when you look at all that we do in our individual aspects, our individual parts of life, we forget so much. And this is something that gets overlooked because it's not cool. It's not sexy. Yeah. I don't see an EMT calendar out there, but they sure got firemen.
Yeah.
So well, I mean, constitutional carry is the hip thing. So everybody wants to talk about wearing a firearm and protecting yourself that way. But you're absolutely right. This is the side of it people don't talk about or just don't think about.
Yeah. I mean, there was I think it was in Florida, a stop happened recently. Law enforcement stopped a man for whatever reason, and they go to disarm him, and a female officer grabs his gun and shoots him through the leg.
Yeah.
And what does she do? She drops the firearm, puts her hands over her face, freaks out, and the initial responding officer applies a tourniquet because she was overcome, like, oops, I made a boo-boo.
Well, it's amazing too. I've seen a lot of those videos. It's amazing with police stops that the person that they stopped is armed, and the cops don't know how to handle a live firearm.
Well,
That's scary.
and that varies agency to agency as well, right? Like I speed, and I've been pulled over for speeding, and they're like, "Hey, do you have a firearm?" Sure do. Hey, you keep yours, I'll keep mine. I'm like, that's a great plan. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And we just go around our merry little way. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that just because someone has a badge or wears a uniform, that's military, law enforcement, EMS, whatever, doesn't mean they know anything and everything. There is a ton that I don't know, a ton. And there's a ton that we all don't know.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're here for another rotation on the sun, and we want to make sure that we see one more.
Yeah.
How much longer we got in this one? Is that a thumbs up or is that a 1-5? Oh, yeah. Can we add this to the next one? What are you looking at me for? I don't know.
What are you talking about? Add it to the next one.
Can we just add this to the next segment and go along? I don't know how this works.
Caleb.
Yeah, we can. That's good.
Caleb, just a little side note. I saw that video. Obviously, the gentleman in question, he was pulled out of the car, and they asked him, "Are you armed?" And he said, "Yes, I am." So everybody was calm. It was a nice, the way it should be. He let the officers know, and the female officer reaches around him, grabs the pistol, and when she does, I guess her finger slipped into the trigger guard.
Booger hook and bang switch.
So I just want to say, I hope this guy's okay, because considering where the gun was and where it was aimed, he's lucky it was just his leg that was pierced.
He was
by
a
the
big
bullet.
guy, and
Yeah,
I don't
he
know
was
if that transcribes to everywhere. So.
Yeah, he was a big boy, but I mean, it's just purely accidental. But yeah, luckily everybody turned out okay on that one.
Yeah, it could have been much worse.
I mean, well, this was aggravating spend time at the Capitol helping to get a constitutional carry passed, but all these laws were that before we got to constitutional carry, constantly the legislators, they want to put in exceptions. Where the law before the current constitutional carry law was that if you're military or law enforcement, you can carry. So there's this idea, and at least in the legislature, that if you're military and you're police, that you know everything there is to know about firearms. And if you're civilian, you don't know what you're doing, and you shouldn't have a firearm. And so that's what's aggravating about that, especially when you see videos.
It's very
like this.
disheartening.
Well, there's many times that there's lots of responsible gun owners, and I don't like using that term, but there's a lot of times where, I mean, we get training more so than law enforcement, or even in military. Like if you're not, I would imagine, in a certain unit or do a certain thing, how often do you get to the firing line?
Very, very valid point. And you and I met quite a few times up there in Baton Rouge and discuss these kind of things because depending on your unit, you might qualify once a year. You might not go to a unit where you qualify once a quarter, and then you're proficient with your firearm, not multiple, right? It's one firearm system. And when it comes to law enforcement, they qualify with their sidearm. And when you look at the way I look at things, is the purpose of a handgun is to get to a long gun, right? The only thing better than a handgun is a big gun. So that's the point that's the way I look at things. But we have to break down and look at other things as well. Like I can only carry so many rounds. I can only carry so much information, so much ammunition, so much in my Batman belt. So it's what are we going to use more often? And at the end of the day, like, look, a Mark 19 on the back of my truck would sound great. Belt fed, 40 mic, HEDP, high explosive, deep penetrating. I can't carry that around.
I think the local police would look at you very funny.
They
might pull you over a lot.
I drove around with a 1919 in the back of my truck for a little while, and no one stopped me.
Really?
Yeah, belt fed 30-06.
Really?
And they were like, "Oh, that's Tuesday."
Yeah.
But
I knew a guy that had a military Jeep. He was one of the military collectors, and he actually had. It wasn't a real one, but it was a mock-up of a 50 cal. He got stopped all the time because you can't have that. And he goes, "Dude, it's a non-functional
and you can have
replica."
the real thing.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Look at how often we're stopped or engaged by people that don't understand the basics of the law. Just because you're doing something suspicious isn't illegal. Being suspicious is not illegal.
Right.
It's being suspicious. Doing something that's out of character is not illegal. It's out of character, right? So we can do so much in this nation, and I hope and pray that that's the direction we continue to go, is we just let each other be. But it's understanding that, look, we have an intrinsic value, an intrinsic responsibility, the responsibility that each of us feel here. When you look at everyone in this room owns their own business, right? And we do business the way that we think is the best way. We treat people a certain way. Customer service to everyone in here, I know how you treat your customers. They treat them phenomenally because we think that's the right way to do it. But not everyone does that.
That's the way I want to be treated. So,
Well, people don't. So we talk about rights a lot, but the reverse side of that coin is a duty. So I have a right, or you have a right, but I also have a duty to respect your rights. And so it works both ways.
Yeah.
When we want other people to respect our rights and have a duty to respect our rights.
Right.
Where we get into issues is whenever people don't follow that responsibility, and they think that their rights trample yours. And freedom of speech is very, very important, followed by the Second Amendment to protect that freedom of speech because it's so important. The ability to say what we want to say, to be out here and to talk to the listeners, to talk to you, and to be able to communicate and convey this information is very important, whether you agree, disagree, or whatever.
Well, and it's like they say, the second is because of the first.
Well, and with the second, I think we get caught up in the gun aspect of it. But really, when you look at what is the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, it's the right to life. It is the right to protect your life and the life of your loved ones and your community. That's what it's about. It's not about the tool. It's about protecting your life.
The ability to stand up for the first.
When we look at it, like, we allowed the NFA Act, National Firearms Act, to go through and say we shouldn't own machine guns. Look, I think that we should own machine guns, grenade launchers, Mark 19s, whatever you want to have.
It's
missiles, if you can afford it, buy a missile.
well, it's like psionics, the silencers, the cans. People watch too many movies.
If people knew what they would really like, they would beg everyone to have them.
Exactly. I mean, in Europe, you can't hunt without one.
Mm-hmm.
But do they regulate it like they do here? No. They regulate the guns like nobody's business. But
you can buy them at a hardware store in Europe. The thing is, they're technically, I mean, that is deemed to be a firearm under the law. Is ridiculous. Like, what part of this actually shoots?
Yeah,
fires a bullet out of
if
here?
it's just
The
sitting on
muffler
a
on your
table,
truck, it's the muffler on your truck would be the F-250.
It's the same.
Yeah.
The same guy, Hiram Maxim, invented the silencer.
Yes.
And then he didn't make a ton of money off of that, and so he adapted that technology and invented the car muffler, and that's where he made all of his money.
Yeah.
It's the exact same technology.
Yeah.
And that's, we get so caught up in the Hollywood of all this stuff, right? It goes back to what do people think is sexy and how ignorant can we be?
Yeah.
Because we don't always realize what we don't know. And there's a ton that I don't know. When I talk to everyone here, I mean, that's why I call Brant when I have issues with my plumbing, because I don't know plumbing, and Josh, you and I bounce things off your head on the legal side and everything else. And Grant, I call you when I forget about Valentine's Day. And I text Renee when I'm in Las Vegas and I'm like, have you ever heard of this cigar? Is this a good cigar? Like, there are things that we don't know. And I think that's the humility side of it, is we can't have this hubris. We have to understand that there are certain things I'm ignorant about.
The key is that we know what we don't know, but we know people that do.
Ooh, that's worthy.
That's
good.
That's how you develop that network. There's things that we don't know, but we know people that do know what we don't know.
Well, I think that's part of why King Solomon was so wise, right?
Yes.
It's understanding that you may be the wisest man in the world that day, but tomorrow is going to come. So it's how do you expand that knowledge, and you surround yourself with trustworthy, knowledgeable people. And hopefully we're those people. Not just us, but hopefully you have other people in your life that you can sit down and say, look, I need competence. I need countenance. I need advice. And someone should be able to sit there and look at you honestly and say, you're being foolish. Look, if you've got, I was cleaning out my other truck, right? And moving it over to the new vehicle. And I found like 15,000 rounds of 22. And I was like, why do I have
Wait,
this much?
15,000?
Yeah.
Dude, that's like that's
12. That's like 10 or 12
a
bricks.
brick. Yeah, a brick
10
is
or
500 rounds, man.
Well, okay, that's a lot.
I
So
was like, where are you hiding that?
under my back seat. So I go shoot and I forget that I have ammo. So I'm like, I'll get more. So I'm sitting down. I'm like, I don't need all this ammo. So I stacked it up and like in my truck, I've got 1,000 rounds of 22 because I might go somewhere and need some 22, or like there's some kids that might be at the shooting range or with their parents and they're like, you want some 22? Like they're shooting at something and like, here's more. You'll keep playing, keep practicing, learn. And that's what I have it for. It's not to go out and try to storm the Capitol with a 22 long rifle, but it's understanding
luck
that there's
with that.
more you need to know.
Yeah.
And it's learning that you can't carry everything all the time. But the important things you can carry are a willing and able heart and a willing and able mind. So is that like we're ending on that? You don't know? I think we're ending on that.
That would have been the perfect
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah. So if we're not ending right there, we'll go back to it. He'll chop it, edit it, do it again. We'll end on that. But see y'all for our segment 2 of hour 2. Welcome back to Implicit Bias. I'm Caleb Morse. I'll call myself the host, Norma the co-host. I'm surrounded by a great group of guys. If you want to hear who they, we haven't done intros on hour 2.
No, we didn't.
So the voice you just heard, Renee Girard of Piper's Haven. Welcome to hour 2.
Thank you for welcoming me.
At the bar, we have Grant and Brant. I'm sure y'all can figure out who's who. Can you see his see his chest? Hour 2 brought to you by Grant, not Brant. William S. Nacall, appreciate you. And look, with Valentine's Day coming up, is there anything you want to say? Any last minute specials? Any like, look, we'll get you out of doghouse kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We have a special on doghouse gifts.
That's
you
the
don't-
ones I buy.
Yeah, if you don't
The
make it wait-
doghouse special?
That's correct. If you don't make your way to my shop, you have nobody but yourself to blame when you're sleeping like me in the boat.
Look, I tell you what. A couple of years ago, I went. I don't ever buy my wife Valentine's things.
Because you're the gift.
Well, no, it's just I took that butt whipping years ago, and so I don't have to do that. But it's probably been 20
Wait,
years.
so Polly doesn't spank you anymore?
No, we're old. But about 2 years ago, I was like, I just got a wild hair, and I said, I'm gonna go see Grant.
Ooh, good for you.
Got one of the gold tip roses. Y'all still do those? And I got her a single Waterford vase. Now, the vase cost me more than a rose, but it's something. And when I brought that home, my wife's going, what did you do? It's because I never do stuff like that. But I said, no, it's Valentine's Day. I just decided to do
So how
something
did it go
special.
over? She liked it?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she loved it. It just surprised her. She was convinced that I had done something very wrong. I broke something or did something that's going to cost us a bunch of money. And no, baby, I just did this for you.
No, look,
Grant hooked me up.
It's still one of our best sellers, actually. It's a rose, and when it's in full bloom, they lacquer it. So, when we first started doing it,
they're
I
beautiful.
cut it open to make sure, but it's an
They
actual,
come
it's an
and they
actual
come
rose.
and they come in multiple colors.
Yeah, all kinds
and
of colors.
All the
It's gold
petals are
trimmed.
gold trimmed. It's beautiful. It really is. It's a neat idea.
One of our best sellers.
Yeah.
Well, and the beauty about what you do, when it comes to firearms, like we fit people for firearms, you fit people for future. Because I've heard you talk to your customers. I've heard you talk to the young men, the young women that come in, and the questions you ask and how you deal with them and handle them. Like you are making sure that they get what they want, because that necklace, that ring, that tiara, I don't know if you sell tiaras, I'm sure you do. Like that means a lot, right? And when Walker finally walks in and he's like, Grant, I'm ready. And I
For
need to
his
buy the-
tiara?
For his ring.
Yeah, looking forward to that
Look,
one.
if she's not
Walker
worth
comes to see
marrying,
me every
she's
once
not
in a
worth
while,
dating,
but,
okay?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
look, Walker's no stranger to the store. He's come in for a couple of things. So if and when that happens, we'll take care of him. But
Grant
it's
will
funny.
talk him out of it.
Look, it's a funny analogy because it's a hard place for guys. The analogy I like to use is for the rest of our lives, we look at our wives and go, honey, does this shirt go with these pants? but they want us to walk into a situation where they want us to go into the store and pick out their specific style of jewelry.
Yeah.
It can be very intimidating.
Yeah.
So it is a process. What I tell everybody is that's why we don't have a drive-through on this building. Come in, sit down, and talk to me. Talk to me about her. Look through her social media pages. Talk to friends of hers that you can trust, because every woman will walk into the mall or walk into a jewelry store and go, "Oh, I love this. I love that." So you can get little hints and little clues
That's smart.
as to what she might like. Oh, it's definitely a process. But
Well,
again,
and you're great at what you do.
but again, you're dealing with guys who are like, "Honey, this shirt go with these pants." It's tough. It's tough billing to make that guy walk into a store and go, "Oh yeah, she'll love this because it's got marquees and it's got rounds and it's accented with this." And yeah, it's a hard sell for guys, but I'm trained in it. So so come see me. We'll walk through the process. We'll get you through it.
And you do a great job. I'm like the gifts that I bought because you picked them out from my wife. Like her, and
Hey.
we talked about it, and you did a phenomenal job. I could not have chosen something better myself.
But that was a process too. And Justin at
Yeah.
the shop too. Justin.
Oh my God!
Justin came in and look, Justin.
Misty
If
cried,
it doesn't have a bullet on it, Justin is not a. But what we did with Justin is we took everybody's opinion, and I sent him videos when I shoot the commercials. Put a little ring on a little pedestal that spins so you can get it from every angle. And I sent Justin like 3 or 4 different things of what he thought she might like. And then Justin was able to go, "Hey, look, I think she might like that." And she did. She loved it. But it's a process. It's not just come in, we'll throw something at her, see if she likes it. Her individual taste, what you think she might like, and you're the one who is closest to her. You're the one who you might surprise yourself in knowing that, hey, that's something that she really might enjoy. So let's go with that. And if you don't like it, look, bring it back, and we'll bring her in, and she'll roll her eyes and look and go, "He tried." He gets an E for effort, but it can be a process. But I've been doing it for a long time, so come see me. We'll see what we can do.
Experts in the field. You know who else is an expert in their field? Elon Musk, man. Doge. Like, this is something. The Department of Government Efficiency. This is something like I hope that it just works well. Because our government loves to spend our money. I don't know if you realize that. And I know that Kavan and everybody talked about it last show, and they talked about how the government, just embezzles and wastes our dollars, which is what they're really good at. But they found that the government was going to spend $50 million on condoms and teaching people how to apply them in Gaza. And
Let's see the work orders.
Yeah.
The purchase
that-
orders.
is that like, Walker, did you have to have a class the first time you bought one?
What? I think I'm not gonna lie. I was not paying
look,
attention.
or what? Like,
Never mind. Now I know what you're talking about.
never-
I kind of remember what you told me at the break.
never
A
seen
class? No.
never seen a condom. He was like, "Look, you chew it, No, but like $50 million.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Like, think
That's
about.
a lot of condoms.
I don't even know how much they cost anymore.
I don't either, but
How much does it cost to teach them?
Well, yeah. I mean,
well,
do you pay people to come to that class?
You know what
Like-
gets me about all these things that they find that our government is spending money on? Somebody's brother-in-law is getting a cutback.
Oh yeah.
They own a business involved in that, and they're getting a kickback on that.
Wait, do you think the government was buying just one brand?
Oh, I'm sure
I
they
wonder
got
what
a
brand it was.
I'm sure they got a contract with a brand
Yeah.
to do that and then of course they had to hire people to give the classes.
Look,
And
I apologize.
So somebody's got a company that has people that can train or give classes.
Yeah, and look, I should apologize because I'll probably get another letter because I mentioned Walker chewing those, and I should use the more appropriate term, which is prophylactic. So,
I just and Walker's going to probably have to cut this out, but are ghosts that sick?
oh, that was yes.
Yes. You know what? Just a little rabbit hole with this one. I thought about it, and they figured out the math. That's 1,000 condoms for every male in Gaza. So I started thinking,
Whoa.
what could they possibly be doing? Now,
Dude,
look, wait,
if
drug
every night-
mules.
Every night, that's 3 years.
Ooh,
worth.
drug mules.
Drug mules will fill those things with drugs and swallow them
Right. Yeah.
for transport, because that's I have to think that there's no way that they could be like rabbits over.
Like I
in
said,
Gaza.
somebody's getting a kickback.
Yeah,
Somebody's
it-
brother-in-law is
1,000 per
getting a
person.
kickback.
Yeah, that's what I heard was the breakdown for each male. in
1,000 per person. Sweetheart, I love you. But 1,000 per person is
A lot of bananas.
And look, I mean, and that's just in Gaza, right? So like
Yes.
you have to think
Yeah,
about
and Gaza's not that big of an area.
no. Yeah, so you have to think about what else do we waste our money on? I can tell you what we don't waste our time on. Unfortunately, it might be bricks. Welcome back to the penultimate segment of Implicit Bias. I'm Caleb Morse. Everyone else can say their name if they want to. We're going to jump right in. We've had a great second hour, great first hour. Hour two brought to you by William S. Nacall. Look, if you are in a random place in East Texas and you want to find great jewelry, come to Lafayette. I don't remember the address. Grant, what's the address?
3802 Johnson Street, Suite B, right next to Gambino's.
Boom. See? Easy peasy. Memory. Perfect.
They will help you. It's the best.
Yes. Mucho gusto. So we're passing a list around, and it's President Trump's executive orders, which has been plentiful. And I asked everyone to go through the list and try to figure out their own. And look, I'm going to toss up. I have two that really stand out to me. But look, I'm excited about the Iron Dome over America. That's a big thing. When you look at other countries, Israel, that has this, and they've protected the heart of their area, and they protected so many. Look at, I have friends in Israel who have found debris of rockets and mortars in their backyard that have been stopped by the Iron Dome. That's huge. And then we have Russia, China, and in North Korea is working on their hypersonics. These hypersonic missiles that travel outside the atmosphere and then come back and get us very, very quickly, very, very easily, very, very accurately. Here's our chance to maintain the superpower status. And this is something that we've ignored. We've always thought, look, we have water on one side, water on the other. The Canadians, what are they going to do? They're going to throw Canadian whiskey at us? Like, we'll survive. Mexico, look, I love the food. But like, we're not very worried. And we should be, because people cause harm. Regardless of where you're from, people can cause harm. The Iron Dome over America, I think, can be a great thing.
Yeah. You know, the only thing I have reservation about that is because America is so big, the amount of area we have to cover. Israel does it very well because they're not that big. You know, if you look at the width of our Canadian border, hell, just the width of our southern border, and then from the sides and everything, man, that's a lot of area we have to cover.
Well, you do
with
it
a missile
strategically.
system.
You do it strategically. And look,
I guess.
you put a few LRADs or everything else, and we can have mobile systems that if you retrofit the radar or the LiDAR, we can really do it. We used to have the R2D2s. What is the real name for those? It's a 25 mic with a Gatling gun.
Oh, the Sea Whiz.
Yeah, the Sea-Whiz.
Sea-Whiz.
R2D2.
Yeah.
And we had them on the back of 18-wheelers, right? And we set them up, and you had a fob protected. So the Iron Dome is going to be using something more powerful than that, but these are things we can use to protect cities.
Yeah. I mean, we need it.
Oh, and look,
But it's just the cost.
The cost
they're
is
estimating, what, $10 trillion or something?
Yeah,
it was
probably.
It was some stupid trillion. It was in the trillions. I mean, we already 32 trillion in debt.
well, and the truth of the matter is we're already spending a lot of that money, right?
Well,
so
no,
Yeah, but look-
no, wait, stop. We're wasting a lot of that
yes.
money.
No,
Yes.
but look, put it by sensitive targets.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
you don't. I mean, it's impossible because they said what Israel is the size of what
New Jersey, maybe?
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
no,
what they-
no. It's bigger than Rhode
well,
Island.
look, you ever been to the strategic oil reserves?
No.
The one in Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
May go down by Chalmette. So it's the oil. We have oil
yeah.
reserves.
We
here.
got, they got
It's
And
hot
the-
water canal.
and get
big
yeah.
thing in Henry.
And
By
guess what they
Abbeville.
have guarding that? They got some PFC who woke up at 5 o'clock that morning, hungover, and he's like, "I've got my M4 in one round."
Oh yeah, he was
Right.
trout fishing.
Yeah. The crab traps are out, right? So,
Yeah.
like, we need to do something better.
Yeah,
we need
but
to be proactive.
I agree with that system, but guarding just strategic locations just because of the cost of it.
And that would be a great. That even that is a massive step forward. Right. So, what is anyone else? Whoever else wants to be next, y'all make Tug work for his money.
Man, there's so much. The Doge, man, that's crazy. Like, they've gone through so many like squirrels and I mean, like, you go through everything. Like, I didn't realize how much money we spent on stupid stuff.
Oh,
I
millions,
almost raised my hand.
millions and billions of dollars.
I mean,
Yeah,
just
like-
the foreign aid that we spend to buy friends that don't work.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
like
who's
the
getting
wor-
all this money? Like,
oh, what'd you say? Who? The World Health
Yeah,
Organization?
yeah, who?
How much were we paying?
yeah, like,
yeah.
What was it? We were paying
let's get out of that.
50 or 15? We were paying $50 million to be a member of WHO,
Yeah.
and China paid, no, it's 500 million. 500 million, and China was
Yeah,
paying
they don't
like
need it.
12. They were paying like 12 million.
But
And look, I get
aren't
that
they
our health
bigger
isn't
and
the
have
best.
more people, so they should pay more?
But the people are smaller.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
we got to go with the
Sorry,
TikTok ban. you
I
know,
apologize if offense was taken. So,
No,
but-
you're not.
but so what else are y'all's favorites? What else are we thinking about?
One of my favorites is that. Oh, go ahead, Grant.
Okay, here's my math. What are we figuring? 12 million illegal immigrants came across the border.
Oh no, it's more than
12 to
20.
15? No.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, regardless, between 12 and 15 million. You have to figure he declared a state of emergency at the southern border. This is the most important piece that he put through. Because if you figure, everyone wants to say, look, this is families. This is Selena Gomez is in absolute emotional uproar.
she
over
filmed
this.
that on her own accord for publicity.
But look, do the math. If you figure, okay, 12 to 15 million, let's say 15 million. This means 1% of what came through is 1% math. We're going to do math again. Is that 150,000 or is that 15,000?
No, 150.
150,000. If you take 1% of the people that came across that border have ill intent towards this country,
That's a low
that's just
number.
that's 1%. That's a lot of people.
A lot of people,
The
but
Chinese
a low
nationals, the Chinese nationals, people from every nation in this world, if that very small percentage have ill intent toward this country, then it is definitely the most important national emergency. I'm glad that's my favorite executive order.
And that's a great call too, because like we hunt in Rock Springs, a few other areas in West Texas, and depending on who's going out there with us, we have to go out and clear the deer blinds.
Make sure nobody's there.
We found people sleeping in the blinds. We find backpacks full of all kinds of things, and there have been multiple issues where there have been like ranch and landowners killed in their homes. And look, there are good people in every nation, every creed, every color, every race, every sex. There are good. Can I say that part? Yeah. There are good people out there. We exist, right? But bad people exist too. Smaller number, much smaller number.
Okay, and you want to think about the people most affected are in those border towns. And those border towns were blue. And these are the people you need to take your lead from, because these border towns went red because they were saying, I don't know if everyone else in the country is seeing this, but we are in a state of emergency. Everyone was blue along the border. Come the election, everyone went red because they were saying, you people don't realize what's going on down here. This is a serious emergency.
And it really is. It is.
You know, when
And I was looking at this climate agreement. Like, everybody in the world does what they want, and we worried about the climate. And that's the thing that bothers me. Like, why are we worried about the climate, but nobody else does? Like, we should all or none. Like, it should be some kind of
Well, what's the garbage mass that floats around the Pacific?
yeah.
The garbage patch, as they call it, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's massive. You know where most of that trash comes from?
China,
Asia.
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 Yeah.
But we're the ones cleaning it up. We're the ones footing the bill. No one else is doing this. Now, look, other countries in South America and in Africa are doing great things when it comes to self-proclamation, self-cleaning, and the preservation of their rainforests and their forests. But not the world as a whole.
Yeah, right.
And when you look at the world as a whole, unfortunately, it waves its hand and it says one more last break. Welcome back to the final segment of Implicit Bias. You don't need my name. Just know that this is Implicit Bias, and you're listening to it on probably a radio station, hopefully a great one, and that you should call them and tell them that you love the show and that you want it to continue. We're not going anywhere, but we want them to know that you love listening to
Well,
us.
and like Kavan always says, if you don't hear the second hour, call them.
Yeah, if you're listening to us on podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, call your local stations. I don't care if they play us or not. Call them and say, I want that.
Yeah, why you don't carry that?
Get us on the air there. We matter. You matter. The collective matters. Let's do something for America. Let's do something for ourselves. Don't wait for someone else to change it. You be the change. Speaking of you be the change, General, it's not Miley like Cyrus, right? It's Millie like vanilla, right?
Yes.
Lip sync. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I got it. It's stuck there in the brain. Do y'all realize why he's in the hot water he's in? Does anyone know what he said whenever Trump was in office the first time?
No, I don't. He said a bunch of stupid things, but I don't remember what he said.
The thing I remember about Milley is when we did the pullout from Afghanistan, and Trump went to him and said, "Why did we leave all of this, all the guns? I mean, so much armament there, multi-million dollars in equipment." He said it would be too expensive for us to transport it.
Yeah.
Now I know there's something that Trump's saying that it was treasonous what he did. So what he
That's
did
different,
The only thing that stuck in my mind was the fact that when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan very quickly, that all of that equipment was left behind.
Yeah, but
for them,
It's
to
actually
grab
closer
hold
to
of.
home.
The thing
Josh,
is,
do you know?
that
Well, there was a couple things. One, wasn't he so after the 2020 election, wasn't he talking to his Chinese counterpart without Trump's authorization,
yes.
essentially saying there's not going to be war?
There was that.
And then also didn't
Really close to home.
didn't he and the Secretary of State Pompeo and the Secretary of Defense authorize some kind of strike without Trump's?
I believe
Because there was something where Trump made them go to a press conference without him, and I want to say like they authorized something together without his.
I think so. I don't want to say yes, but I think so. The other part is George Floyd. Oh yeah. So George Floyd, Trump wanted to send the military here. He wanted to talk to the states and activate the National Guard and all this other stuff. And General Milley said that we took an oath to the Constitution and to the office, not to the individual. And that is insubordination. That is 100% insubordination. And in the military service, that is a huge, huge crime. Big thing. And look, you can disagree. You can, and there's ways and times to do that behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, the commander-in-chief is the commander-in-chief. And whether you agree or not, there are certain things that you are bound by duty and honor of service to do.
I mean, the only thing that you don't have to do, unlawful order.
Unlawful orders.
Right. But
So
when
it
the
was in
commander in
Minnesota?
chief says something, if it's unlawful, you don't have to, but otherwise you do.
Well, look at
Do it.
the COVID stuff, right? Whenever people weren't getting the vaccine, it was not unlawful to not get the vaccine, but
Right.
yet people got discharged and lost
Right.
their retirement.
No,
and everything
no,
else, and
not
no one spoke up.
discharge, fired.
Yeah, and-
you're fired.
And they lost time and grade, lost time
Right.
in service, lost retirement.
But what happened?
wasn't illegal.
But what happened? What did Donald Trump sign?
Well, that's a different chain of command. So new chain of command came in, and he wanted to do restitution for those individuals. What was your question, Grant?
No, that was in Minnesota with the George Floyd.
Yeah.
Close to
yeah.
home.
So Tampon Tim's backyard.
Yeah.
So that was Milley.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so that whole area was just a disaster waiting to happen, huh?
Yeah.
So Trump told him to go in, and Milley said no, thank you. And
Well, he said we
he
wanted-
probably had Tampon Tim's backing.
He said, we want to activate the National Guard. We're going to talk to the states on the state level. We'll talk to their local generals, and we'll make this happen. And he was like, no, this is not what we're going to do. This is not how we're going to use the military, and we won't move forward. Now, so they went back, and they're stripping, and I might be wrong on this, but they're stripping General Milley of his rank
Yeah, they
and reducing him in retirement and everything else. And
clearances.
yep, all his clearances. So he probably, he probably had
Well,
a few different ones, but
Trump went and wiped a lot of clearances out. But the thing is, I mean, can they strip him of Well,
You
generals.
can. You can. So what you can demotion by rank and everything else happens very, very often. I mean, I know plenty of E7s who retire as E3s. I know plenty of, and as an officer, you're not going to get bumped down to enlisted, but they can knock you down to a captain and so forth. It happens multiple times, especially for conduct unbecoming and unfitting of an officer of your grade and nature. And this is one of those things like, look, insubordination is a big thing in the military. And there are ways to say you don't agree. There are times to say you don't agree. And just like the bishop, he did not choose the right time or right place. And we have to be reminded, when I say we have to be humble, right? Christ calls us to be humble and to maintain and know our place, because the Bible tells us, don't we know that one day we will judge the angels? So if we're to judge angels, we're to do these things. Doesn't mean that's our position now, but one day we will. So when you look at a private, an O1, O2, a general, you have to understand at the end of the day, the commander-in-chief is the commander-in-chief. And if you disagree, you don't do it in public and you don't speak out. Look at Mad Dog Mattis, right? I'm an Army vet. He was Marine Corps, great thing from the Marine Corps. When you read his book and you go back and listen to how he talks about the president at the time, President Trump, he says nothing disrespectful. Why? That is what a general does.
Yeah.
That is the status and the respect that is given to the rank and the position. So I'm very, very happy to see that little General Milli Vanilli is being held accountable, right?
Well, I mean, he did some stupid things with the pull out of Baghdad. I mean, you don't give up the base before you take our people out.
Yeah, horrible, horrible planning.
Yeah, it was just a horrible plan.
And it goes to show that, like, look, piss poor planning it affects everything that you do. Just like we didn't plan enough time. We need a third hour. My liver can't handle a third hour, Walker. But at the end of the day, we hope you enjoyed your time with us. We hope you really enjoyed the show. And please, please come back for more. Like and follow. Till next week.